Hi, welcome back to the Knit for Brains podcast. This is episode 55 and a half. I'm Laura Brady.
I'm Karen Miller.
So we're popping in. We already recorded one earlier with Alisha and I, which is up now. But Karen came over to knit and we decided to do a little mini podcast because we did get a lot of comments and whatnot on her projects she had been working on. So we thought we'd pop in and show you some of her finished projects and probably works in progress maybe, and some acquisitions, some yarn that she has purchased since she was on here last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know.
I've been a bad girl.
So, yeah, and
in a good way.
I've been fairly good lately, I have to say.
Yeah.
To pat my back a little bit. So I don't have anything really to show at all since I already showed you guys everything this morning. So I'm going to let Karen take over.
Okay. So I wanted to show my works in progress first. It's just one that I actually wasn't quite finished with. And
oh, you're almost there.
I am really almost there. And we were talking about it last time in the last podcast. It was just vanilla socks done out of, let's put it there. Yarn Cafe Creations 11 colorway that she had. And then I was really worried because I didn't have a whole heck of a lot of the pink left. But as you can see, I have quite a bit still.
I knew you were going to make it.
Still, and I'm almost like, a couple more rows, honestly, on my heels, and I will be completely done. And again, the toes are the anatomically correct. It's a free one. It's actually written to be more of a double point, and I just kind of modified it to do a magic loop. But I ended up, I think this time around, I did them one at a time, but the second time I used this pattern, once I got used to my alterations, I was able to do it two at a time. So I'm almost done with that. Yay.
If we would have been a couple more minutes.
I was knitting in the car waiting.
Well, and it was funny because she got to our house before we got back because we went out to eat and we had a load of stuff to donate at Goodwill. And, well, you can never go to Goodwill and just donate stuff. You need to go in and take a look around again. So she messaged and said she was here, and we were 2 minutes out, and we pulled up, and she's ferociously knitting in the car, and Brett's like, it's going to be a minute, she's knitting. That's funny.
So when we knit afterwards, probably like 5 minutes afterwards, this will be done.
That'll be done quick.
Kitchener it up, and it'll be done.
It's pretty well an FO.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the next one, finished objects.
Woohoo!
I actually have 2 finished objects.
Yeah, one is a major one, though.
Yeah. So you saw last time I was probably about here. I did not have, I had a half. But this is very chunky yarn. And I actually found the ball band.
Oh.
And I'll show that later because I'll show the other yarn I had bought. And I actually found, I know I mentioned it was a free pattern, but I did not mention the name. It's called Quick and Easy Slouchy Hats. Oh. I chose to do the seed stitch, but actually in the pattern you have other options. There is a spiral stitch. Let me get this. I'm backwards on the screen up here. And then there's also a pearl brick texture, which I think I might use on the next one.
Do you have another skein of the chunky like that, or you ordered more?
Well, no, actually, I still had. I had bought 2.
Okay.
I still had this much.
That's a lot.
I did not opt to slouch this that much.
It's more of a fitted.
It is more of a fitted beanie. It still has some room just because I went up needle stitches to 13s and 15s, but even.
Oh yeah.
With that, you can see
there's a
little bit of a slouch, and with the palm put on it, it'll pull it down a little bit. Yeah. I think I'm going to give it to one of my nieces. Be something that's so colorful and cute and young.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not young.
I was going to say,
are you young? I'm young.
Well, I told you the other day I never even remember how old I am. I joked around so long about being younger than what I am. I don't know my actual age anymore.
I'm turning to big 50 this year. I told my husband that I don't do a surprise party, but knowing him, I'd rather get a trip.
There you go. Okay,
So,
look at, I'm getting a fuzzy on my yarn. You know how I always get those fuzz balls and I have to keep moving it down? Yeah, I'm getting one on here. That's funny. Does anybody else have that? I'll be knitting along, and all of a sudden I call it a fuzz ball. It's a little extra piece. And as I knit, longer and longer, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I can't remember what project it was. Remember I was knitting, and that thing was huge, and I just kept moving it down. I don't know what I do.
I think it depends on the yarn, too.
Yeah. This is
a piece of
a fingering, too, so it's not quite as big, the little chunk.
Yeah. So this next one is what I did most of my work on. I was bound and determined.
Well, I was kind of making you feel bad, too, because
you were already done?
I was done.
See, I'm trying to think of where I was. I think I was just, I had just started the Ribby Eye Lip pattern. But I am done with the Twin It Up.
Which made you cringe.
Yes. I was like, it just takes forever to do that one. And I'll go over that.
And then when she blocks it, her wonkiness will come out, just as I showed on my last podcast.
I have ends still. But it is done.
And literally, Karen, because you haven't seen the podcast, when I wet mine, I laid it out flat. I didn't stretch it at all, other than the bottom of it to do into the triangle. And I did not even have to stretch it at all, and the wonkiness came out. Because I didn't want to make mine any bigger than...
Yeah, this is pretty huge.
It's good size, yeah.
Squishy too. So
that was a major project for her to get done.
Yes. And again, my yarns for that were the less traveled yarn. And my 3 colors... This is what I had left. I did better than what I did.
Yeah, you did a lot better than me. But different yardage, though, too.
Yeah, all of mine had the same yardage. And it was 463 yards. Yeah, so I think your one...
My one was a little less, I think.
little less. But still plenty to be able to do some type of scrappy project.
You know what? Project isn't complete until you play Yarn Chicken.
No, I'm pretty good at not
and I lost.
That, so
I've only had a couple times where I've had that, and normally I think I'm going to run out, and I don't.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I actually ran.
Yeah, but you asked me the one time you were doing, I think it was your cowl. You think I'll make it? Yeah, you'll make it. And you didn't make it, and you're mad at me because you had to turn around and
you'll make it.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I didn't make it.
If you didn't try, you wouldn't have known.
No. Well, when you look at a little ball of yarn, it's very deceiving. You think, oh, there's no way. And then it goes so much further than what you actually think it will go.
Right. But, okay. And then there's the ball band. And your double yarn. And the makeup was 70, the base is 757 yarn, there's 757 sock base, and it was 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. So, I really like that yarn too.
So that's all your FOs, right?
That is all of my FOs.
Okay, before she goes to acquisitions, even though this is a mini episode, I'm going to go ahead and run through the coupon codes, because one of the coupon codes we have, she has yarn to show from them.
Yeah.
So
next time I'll use the...
You will use a coupon code. She forgot.
I forgot till afterwards.
Which the one we're talking about is for Cherry Pie Cottage. They are on Etsy. If you use code KFB10 for 10% off until March 15th. Remember around 9:30 because I didn't bring a pen to write this down for him to. We also have coupon code KNIT4BRAINS, which will get you 15% off at Happy Little Yarn. The Tangled Skein CA, use code K4B15. Obviously, it'll get you 15 off. Whips on Sticks on Etsy, 10% off with code KFB10. Alrighty, back to you.
Okay. So, my first purchase is cherry pie cottage.
I showed one as well on the last podcast.
And this is called I Do Believe in Spooks. And you can tell from my shawl, I have a theme. I really love wines and those deep burgundy colors. And I love that it's got some browns that go through it.
I was say, because you're a fall girl.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I do fall. I love
Like the browns and oranges and
autumn colors. So this is their DK 100, 100% superwash merino, 250 yards, and it's so soft.
I say I haven't had
It's
her
like
DK yet.
Squishy soft.
Because this is a newer base that she just started carrying. So I'm definitely going to have to get some DK from her.
So, and then she also sent me,
Just so cute. I have one of these.
you can see.
Yeah, progress keepers sometimes
There
are
we go.
hard to show.
Little honey beehive.
Which Jenny
Progress
is not making these anymore. So these
But-
are very special.
So that was nice. Okay, so I talked about my hats last time.
Yes.
Needing some extra special poms. And it just so happened that one of the shops that I follow on Instagram had a sale. I think it was because of cold weather, so I'm very thankful of cold weather. So
Well, at least cold weather did something for you.
this is from FF Fab Units. Fabulous faux fur pom-poms and hand-dyed yarn. And she had a sale on everything. So I had a really hard time. What really worried me was when I came home, I had left my house for a little bit for an appointment, and I knew it was coming. And usually I don't think nothing of it because most of my packages can fit into my, I have a bigger size mailbox, sitting outside of my house. And it's not that big of a deal. And I went and I left and it was like slightly misting. And I came back and the package was on my porch and water had wicked up the package. It was like more of a paper bag type package. I was like, oh no, don't tell me.
Yeah, that's why I tend to use the poly mailers when I send mine out because it's more. I mean, granted, if they drop it in a puddle of water or something, I mean, I don't care what you have it in.
Right.
It's got issues, but as far as like, because a lot of you're probably different than us, but our mail delivery is door to door. We don't have mailboxes at the curb. So the lady's walking through. If it's raining, everything in her mail bag is getting wet.
Yep. But luckily, when I opened it, it must have just gotten to the bottom of it, and it wasn't sitting there long enough that it hadn't affected any of my. So I got several of them that I had too, and I don't know all the colors. I think this one was like a husky. You can see the little tips. They're a little bit black on the end, and then.
I like this one.
Yeah, I know.
Although I'm not typically a person that wears a hat with a pom-pom.
But I thought this one or another one that I got will actually look really cute on the chunky hat that I use. So this is the other one that I was like, Depends on which niece I give it to. And which one gets what. Isn't that pretty? Love it. Love it. Love it. So, I think I got one other. Yeah, you can see I really went a little crazy.
So what size pom did you order?
This is 5-inch.
Okay.
And I want to say they were like $3.50.
That's not
because
bad.
they were like 30% off or something like that.
Oh, wow.
A piece. And even with shipping, I think I one sparkle. See that glitter a little bit there. And they actually have the tails on them to be able to attach. So yeah, I was like, first, so I quickly put them in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
To keep them nice and fresh and away from my cats.
Yeah, they'll think it's a toy.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look, Mom, feathers.
So I'll be adding those to several of my hats. Okay. So I was off. I had vacation time last weekend. I took like the Friday and Monday off. So I also, besides working full time, am in school. And I took Friday and the Monday off as a kind of like a breather and to get caught up on things. I got caught up on that shawl. So I was able to finish that shawl with going to school and stuff. So, of course, I think it was Saturday, I was like, well, I can't just not buy my yarn. And I've been on the lookout for some specific things. So we have a yarn shop that's kind of local to us. It's about 30 miles away. Yarns to Die For. So the first place I took my mom to, because I take my mom on my adventures, was there. And I was looking for, my goal was to get sock sweater yarn. So my first yarn store trip, I didn't get sweater yarn at all.
It happens.
Instead, my mom actually oohed and awed about a shawl. Oops, that's a color, just an extra color picture. About a shawl that she saw that they had done up there. And I have no Usonian.
That sounds right to me.
Possibly.
By
D. O'Keefe. It is on Ravelry.
Is it paid for?
It is a paid for. I want to say it's around $6. It's not too bad. It's a lot of pages. I'm like,
looks like a lot of lace. That's why.
Yep.
You have fun with that.
It is a triangular shawl, and that should be interesting. But the colors she picked out.
Looks like I picked them.
I know. That's why I said you're going to love these. There's no sparkle, but, you'll love the colors that she picked out. 3 Irish Girls is who's done it. And this is both of these are Adorn Luxe, 85% merino, 15% nylon, 430 yards. And this color is chambray. And that says Laura all over it. It's as if she picked it out.
I do like my blues. As I'm sitting and knitting on a break sock.
Now, and this one is called, same base and everything, Stonewash.
And now you have my hair on it. Sorry.
You can see the different, it has some plums and some browns in there, along with a pale blue. And I think even some shades of the actual blue of the other. So this will be a very pretty variegated to alternate with. So I'm planning on doing that for my mom for Mother's Day.
You might want to get started now with all that lace.
I don't know what size needles.
The only thing I have about lace is you can't really fudge lace too much.
I don't even have the size with me to get started tonight. So, and then, did I go to that one? There it is. Okay.
You look like you've been hanging around with me too much.
Just a little bit.
It happens when you don't ever want to go out. And Karen will vouch for this. If you do not want to spend too much money when you go to a yarn event.
If you're on a yarn diet, don't go with her.
Don't go with me or Alisha. Because we do nothing to discourage.
Nope.
No.
Melissa found that out.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of us were like, well, you were with the wrong person. If you expect us to keep you in check, then
we're not the people you should be with. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, so the other hat that I did is by the same dyer. It's by Hello Pearl. The colorway on the first hat was called First View, and this is called Anchored Dawn. Same type of. This has got grays and blues, Love the sparkle.
I was going to say lots of sparkle.
Greens and that plum purple again. So this
I might have to
really...
I might have to actually pick up some of this when we go to Greencastle this time.
Yeah, this wasn't, I mean, this is like $25. It wasn't, it's superwash too, because of course I had to touch everything. Not like last, podcast. I was careful because we had Alisha, and I knew Alisha was like, it was more of a fiber event, so we were a little bit worried because
with alpacas and llamas and
how much of it would be strictly wool, strictly alpaca. So it was kind of like I'd go in first.
and if anything like that had a different texture, we were like, okay, check label.
All right, check labels.
And I don't think at that point we knew of my allergy yet.
No,
my allergy really came out when we went to visit Lori in Arkansas, and we went to a alpaca farm.
Oh.
And we were feeding them, so I had the stuff, on my hand, and they were eating out of my hand, and next thing I know, my hand was on fire.
Oh.
And then my ears got red, and then it was starting to affect my throat. And ever since then, like, we knew I was allergic to 100% wool, but we didn't realize, like, alpaca and llamas, they say most people are not allergic to. Guess what? And since then, since I had that reaction when we were there, it seems like it's gotten a lot worse. Like now, the minute I touch a yarn, forget it. It's
once you've been exposed, every time it gets worse and worse.
So I do definitely carry Benadryl with me at all times, because sometimes when I'm digging through Goodwill,
you need an EpiPen.
We went to, I know, right? We went to the Bridge thrift, and I should have thought to send you pictures, because if you wanted any of it, I could have picked it up. Well, I could have had Brett picked it up. They had a bunch of, it was baby alpaca. It's that one brand that everybody talks about, the Nana do you know what I'm talking about?
Not Knit Picks.
No, it's not a Knit Picks. It's a L some. At any rate, they had a ton of it there. It was beautiful yarn. But I'm like, I can't. Next time I'll have to remember, I'll send you pictures, because if there's anything you want, I make Brett pick up the stuff.
So this is, it's Merino Superwash, and it's Silver Stellina, and it's 90-10. Approximately 142 yards, 7 ounces. So I think I'll almost get another hat out of the other one if I go for a smaller hat. This one, though, I think I'm going to try going slouchier with it. So, and that's always a quick knit. Right. So, then we went over to spinning yarns.
I'm already eyeballing this, because I'm like, Cascade always scares me, because a lot of their stuff is not superwash.
This is 220 superwash.
Oh, okay. Because they had some Cascade at that place too, but and it was
some of the 220s.
It was
are
the
not.
220, but it was not superwash, and they had it very reasonably priced. But I'm like, nope. It killed me to leave it there.
And the lady there was really nice. It was a Saturday morning, and they actually do their knit groups on Saturday morning, and she was helping us out, letting us know of different colors. I was looking for a yellow, but the blue. So I'm going to do the throwback sweater, and this is Cascade 220, and I like it's cinnamon color. And it's a number 212. I have numbers. So 100% superwash, 100 grams, 220 yards. And then this color is the color she likes.
I think all those colors are going to look great together.
1924, you wouldn't think blue with yellow with a green, and an autumn color, but they didn't have the right yellow mustard color I was looking for.
Well, and the thing is, too, is they're the same tone.
Right. And I just picked up this cream for my color work.
Is that cream? It looks white to me. I'm colorblind, though.
It's slightly.
I always ask people, because I see things differently.
It depends on your lighting. Like here, it looks white, but it has a bit of a cream to it. And then the other color is...
Which I'm not a green person, but I don't mind it too much.
But this falls right in my fall colors.
It does. It does. It really does.
So the body of the sweater is going to be done in this. In this like cinnamon color. Because this is like my color. And then the others are going to be the accented colors. These three together.
Yeah, it's going to look sharp.
Yeah, that'll look pretty. And I'll probably reverse or do a green, because my daughter's a green person.
Yeah.
And then my next sweater is going to be in this. But, I hope she follows through. She was talking about, because, you know, the cost of this, I mean, it wasn't necessary. Wasn't crazy outrageous.
It was reasonable compared to others.
Yeah, it was a little over $100. I also got some wash too. But considering how many yards, I had to get like 1,600 yards of the cinnamon of the one color. Considering that, it was pretty decent, and I liked being able to not only really see the true picture, but actually feel it, because even with the yarn that I had gotten from Knit Picks, one of them I was like, this is pretty.
The wool of the
rough.
Andes.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Which that was the one that makes me, because it's 100% wool.
Yeah, and I'm hoping when I stitch up with it and wash it, it'll soften a little bit, but it's, you know, that feeling up against my...
I personally think, and I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but through my experience of feeling the different yarns and whatnot, any 100% wool I have felt, I would, even if I wasn't allergic, I would not be able to wear.
Yeah.
Right. You definitely have to... I mean, most sweaters, anyways, you make, you're going to have something underneath, but the problem would be, like, in the neck area where you're more sensitive, because I think it's, most of them are scratchy.
Yeah. And I don't even like, you know, the sweaters that go... I'm a cardigan girl, for the most part.
Me too.
Because I get, you know, hot, and then I can't take off the sweater if it's too hot, you know, unless I'm at home and I can take it off. And even with shirts and stuff... back in the 1980s-ish, when it was the whole mock turtleneck.
Oh, I can't do
That's
turtlenecks.
the closest I ever got. And of course, those were all cotton.
I can't.
You know, just like t-shirt material. But I'm not one to even buy. I'm always buying shirts that are V or the lower, because I just can't.
I'm claustrophobic. It makes, like, even, I went, was it last week, to get my hair done. And I go through this with my hairdresser each time, because, you know, they put the cape around and they
yeah.
And I sit here going, like, and she puts it loose because she knows how I am, and I'm still like, looser. And she's like, well, pretty soon we might as well not have it on. And I'm like, okay. I'm good with that. I can't stand having anything that tight up to my neck. Don't like it.
So that's it for my...
I mean, I think it looks pretty on other people. Like, I've seen some of the, you know, but I could never do it.
I know, the what is it, that turtle dove sweater? I would love to do it.
You could do it and steek it.
That'd be the only way I'd wear it.
I believe Jody from Grocery Girls did that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Or maybe that was a different pattern.
I think it was a color work.
That was a color work one.
Yeah.
Somebody did it. I could have swore. Or maybe she was talking about doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could...
because it's not always
because it would be
nice
to knit it and then steek it, because then you're not going to have to deal with all that purling either. Where when you do cardigans, that's kind of the
drawback.
The drawback of it is
having 300 stitches on a needle and having the purl all the way back.
So yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Just an idea, because then, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. So if it's open, that being up higher wouldn't bother me.
Right. Yeah.
Just thought.
I always have a cardigan laying around in my office, upstairs in my bedroom. I brought one here before because it's always so cold. Except while we're podcasting.
I was going to say, it gets
comfortable in here.
I'll see, and I get warm.
I'm comfortable. She's warm.
I do have a hoodie on, though, too, which, yeah. What can I say? That's just how it is. I like being cool.
The next thing I have to get is for my shawl. I have everything I have the wash, I have the mats to put it out. I just have to get pins, and then I'll be able to. I have several things, a hat, and I want to do a little bit stretching on it, and then I have a couple of shawls that have just been sitting and haven't been washed. The other ends are in.
We used to, and we still do to some respect. We used to always use pins, but I have picked up 2 sets of the, I think they're by Knit Picks. Not the blocking wire. I don't know if they're called blocking wires. They look like kind of like a comb, and then they'll have like the 4 things. Mm-hmm. Those are really nice. That's what I use to block my my twinned up MCal.
Yeah.
And my Christy shawl that I showed today. It's a little bit like, oh, that's nice. Guys, did you see what just happened? Okay. Oh. So magic looping. And my end just came off, and look, there's all my stitches. Lovely.
It's not that's fixed, isn't it? Did it just break off?
Yes, it did. Alrighty. Well.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I think you've used them one too many times, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. And those are my zings.
You love those things.
I do. It's okay. I have like 3 or 4 more pairs of these. It looks like it was basically glued. Yeah, it looks like it was glued in there.
Yeah.
And it just came undone.
Huh.
I don't know if I'll go back. Oh, I will go back in there, so I might have my husband fix these. We'll see. Oh, yeah. Ooh, okay. I was like, now it's going to stay. All right. Well, I'll have to try to pick up all those stitches then. I don't have a picky-uppy thing. Wasn't that exciting?
Never know what's going to happen when Karen's on the podcast.
Yeah, I blame this on you.
I didn't do a darn thing.
Well, it startled me. I'm just,
You helped me earlier.
The thing with Magic Loop is that does, depending on how you knit and how you pull through with your Magic Loop, it does put a strain on that join. And that's probably been a needle that I've used for 30, 40 pairs of socks.
Well, and I got the Zings, the set that you can change.
Interchangeable? Yeah, I have those.
That's the word I was looking for. Just for the hats.
Oh, you got the small hat one? I have that.
The short. Yeah. And,
I love it.
I didn't realize that when I knit how I twisted until I started using that, and I was like, and every so often I'd be like, well, I better twist this back on. Otherwise I'm going to lose my stitches with it. But I like it because I have a lot of zings. But, if in case another pair is in another pair of hats, that I don't have to worry about it. I can always go to that.
I have the
connect them.
The hats that you're talking about of needles, and then I have a full. Mine are actually called. They're the same thing. Melodies, because that's what they are in the U.S. And then I have my Knitter's Pride Nova Plantinas, and what's nice is my cords work with all 3.
Oh, okay.
So Lori had bought me a bunch of extra cords, so I have tons of cords for all of that interchange between basically 3 sets.
Right.
So it's really, and they also fit Alisha's Lickas. So if she ever needs, because I have some that are still in packages.
That's unusual. You usually don't find that.
Yeah,
with
that
all
is
of them.
very unusual.
Because that's a big investment to make, regardless of what pair you decide to go. What set you decide to go with.
Well, my thing was I did go with the Novas first, and then I discovered by chance I started using the Zings, which at that point I had to order from the UK because they were not carried here. And I started using their fixed, and I liked them so well, I kept adding on and getting more.
Yeah.
And I do have some zings, fixed ones also in 16-inch as well that I've kind of added on here and there. And then when they came to the U.S., I was gifted the one Christmas, the Melody set. And then I bought the hat set. And then recently, when I started doing knitting with double points, I got the double point set of zings.
Yeah.
The only thing with that set is, and it's common of all metal sets, you don't get a lot of sizes. If you buy a wood DPN set, you get a lot more sizes.
Interesting. Is it just because it's metal?
I'm not sure what the reasoning is. And I can't remember what the difference is, but it's basically like, let's say with the metal, you only get, 6 sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the wood, you get like 9 or 10 sizes. But I don't like wood. So
Yeah.
I just added on, I ordered some of the DPN zings in larger sizes and just basically added on to my set.
Yeah, I have a tendency, I do like the metals also. In fact, that's the only thing I don't like about doing the chunkier hats is it's really hard to find circulars or even double points in metal. It's almost always in bamboo, which if it's for a hat, it's not that big of a deal, but everything else, I'm always using circulars and always I go to the metal.
Well, I think the wood, I feel like it changes your gauge. B, it makes me feel like I knit slower than what I already do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not a fast knitter to begin with. I don't need to knit slower. It's just because it doesn't slide as easily.
Unless the yarn is slick, then you almost need that to keep it. Because I've had a couple of projects that I've done before.
I think I started on wood needles, I'll be honest, when I first started. I think it was because it wasn't so slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So it made it easier, like, as you were learning, you weren't, accidentally sliding stitches off.
Yeah.
But
I started on straight.
oh God, I couldn't even.
Big old...
I don't even understand straight needles and and there's some people that still to this day love them and use them. More power to them. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes, but it just looks awkward.
In fact, this week I was at my dentist appointment, and I don't know how we got onto the conversation of knitting. And the lady was like, "Oh, that's really neat that you knit. I'd love to learn. How did you teach yourself?" I'm like, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube taught me just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'd like to pick something like that. What would you recommend?" I'm like, just first thing is like a pot holder or, just a washcloth.
Just thread.
Just dishcloth, something square, something fast. And then you can get circulars at any of your major stores. I would recommend not using straights.
Yeah.
Even, for anyone that's
a lot
new,
of people that tried to
then
learn
it
on straights gave up.
and then it doesn't fall off. You don't have that problem. Not others don't have a problem with it, but my first thing that I knit was I didn't go for a hat, didn't do a washcloth. I went straight for a blanket because
I was gonna say we don't do anything small, do we?
it's like with that, like one of those Lion brand funky swirly like yarn that's got like, it wasn't smooth, it wasn't even red heart, it was it was chunky, so
with little bits and bobs
exactly and would catch on anything anything, and I was so proud of myself. I gave that to my mom. And it laid on the back of her couch until I was like, you can get rid of that thing.
So all right, we are gonna head on out of here so we can get some knitting done and deal with my sock.
And I'm gonna finish my sock because my needles still work.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.